All right, let's welcome in this week's guest, my former teammate with the Philadelphia 76ers and my good buddy, the process, Joel Embiid. Joe, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir, of course.
So we've been in this bubble now for about a month. What are your impressions of this life?
It's
Yeah,
been fun?
yeah.
Actually, it's been actually okay. Like I've been surprised. Like I didn't know what to expect coming in. I wasn't a big fan of the idea, but it's actually been fun.
I felt like the first few weeks until we started playing games every other day, I felt like the first few weeks, the biggest issue for me was just the amount of downtime that we had. It was, I mean, we had night practices, so we're talking like 6 o'clock at night we have practice, and you have all day, and that was hard to fill that time. That was the hardest part for me.
Well, I was fine. I got my video games. I mean, the only thing I miss is my family, but other than that, if I'm not sleeping, I'm definitely playing. So, I'm fine. Can't ask for anything. And my schedule doesn't really change from anything I usually do when I'm home. If we have, let's say, practices in the morning, I go home. If I'm not sleeping, I'm playing video games or nothing really. So I'm always either on the phone or I'm playing video games.
Joe, what were you playing? What games?
FIFA,
All FIFA?
yes.
What's the maximum amount of time? So if we played all the way to the finals, if one of our teams made it all the way to the finals, we'd be in the bubble for 3 months.
Yeah.
And as we look at what's happening in other sports and trying to figure out how to play without a bubble, like what does next season look like for us? It's a real concern for me. Like I don't know if I can really do
Oh, I can't.
6 to 8 months in a bubble.
There's no chance. I don't think it's happening. I mean, you got to find a way. Hopefully by then it will be better. We will find some more solutions to what's going on right now. But to expect being in the bubble for 8 months, that's that's unlikely. I don't know if I can do it. There's no chance.
Did you have any concerns about playing in regards to specifically with like coronavirus? Did you have concerns about coming here?
Yes, I thought about it. I thought about not playing. I didn't really want to play. I was against it. Um, I felt like to me, money is not what drives me. I just want to be healthy. I want to keep the people I'm with. I want to keep my family healthy. So I just want to make sure, and with the uncertainty of everything going on, I just want to make sure that, I'm taking care of myself. And I wasn't for this bubble, but like I said, it's actually been okay. And I think they've done a good job.
Where'd you spend most of your time over quarantine?
I was in Philly. I just every day, not doing anything. I took a little bit of time off, and then right before we got here, for the past 2 months, I was just going about 6 times a week, just working out. I had my trainer come in, just working out every single day.
Joe, when we figured out you were coming on, this was the first question I wanted to ask you. What was your first impression when you met JJ for the first time?
I still remember that day. He came. He was on our visit. He was in his visit.
No. Joe, we met 2 weeks prior to the visit.
Prior to the visit,
We met in New York at Steve Nash's charity soccer game.
true, we did, but we
And-
didn't really have any time to like really
Yeah.
be together.
So Joe and I got invited to do Steve Nash's charity game,
Foundation.
but I decided not to play because I was 2 weeks away from free agency and didn't want to tear my ACL playing soccer. I'm not sure why you didn't play.
I didn't play. I didn't play because the Sixers. You got to make sure Joel stays healthy, so they didn't want to risk it, and they didn't allow me to play. And I think I was coming back from injury or something. I had something going on, so it was not worth it. So yeah, that's where we met. And then he came to Philly on his visit, which was interesting. I mean, I didn't really know much about him because I was just getting going in the league. I had really not much idea, and then just by meeting him, and after that, after when he came to visit us, I went to watch a couple of highlights. So I was like, man, this guy, he could be pretty good for us. We need him. I mean, I need some shooters, and this guy's perfect. And I still wish we could have had some more time, but he decided to leave us. Thank you.
2 years, short and sweet.
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's. I've told this story before. I want to get Joe's perspective on this because it was a little odd.
Oh yeah.
So I come to the facility at 12:01 a.m. This is July 1st, 2017. I show up to the facility at 12:01 a.m. and I'm getting a tour of the facility. I see the offices, I see the locker room, I see the weight room. And as we're like walking from the weight room through the court back to Brian Colangelo's office, Brett stops us and he starts running like 2-man game with me and Joe. Yeah. And we're in street I have a blazer on. And we're like doing DHOs.
Yeah, sure. Hey, he ended up being the best offense in the NBA. So
yeah.
I do remember that we just got on the call. We just started talking about some ideas of, us playing together, and it was cool.
The other thing I would add to that story is I left because you came in the meeting. We met after that little walkthrough we did on the court. We met with David Blitzer, Josh Harris, Colangelo, Todd Wright, Brett.
By the way, how much did I care about you? I came at 12 a.m. just for you. That's how much I cared about you, and you decided to leave me. Thank you. All right, cool.
Joe, I thought the same thing until I realized that 2 a.m. is your normal waking hours.
That is true.
Once I got to know you, I was like, it wasn't that big of a deal that he came that night.
I've changed a little bit, but yeah, I used to basically stay up all night and go to bed at 8 a.m. and sleep all day.
I wanted to actually talk a little bit about our 2-man game because I had never really gotten a chance to play with someone who complemented me so well, and I could play that 2-man action so well. I mean, obviously in LA, I got to do some of that action with Blake and DJ, but Chris was our primary creator on the ball, and Chris and Blake had a lot of 2-man action. Do you remember when we figured out that like basically our DHO at the left elbow was an unstoppable play?
I think he all came. I think he started with you because coach was trying to figure it out, like where to put you on the floor and which way you were best coming into. And I think it was just natural. I think he just happened, and we just rolled with it. And I don't think. I remember that meeting. We talked about it, and we did a lot of studies on, just you and DJ, and you used to do that a lot with DJ, and I just felt like, DJ is a great player and all that stuff, but I felt like I added something more than he did, which is, you could find ways you could screen for me, or I can screen for you and pop out of it, and you just found ways like go into it, and I can shoot, and that's something DJ was not comfortable with that I could do, and I just thought it was natural. I don't remember any time if we just sat and we were like, okay, let's do this. Even when you started screening for me, It was natural. It just happened. Like, out of nowhere, like you're just coming for the handoff, and the way they're guarding you, and you just decided to screen for me, and from there we just went with it.
So once a game we would run our elbow action a few times a game, but once a game a team would try to top lock me, which is basically deny me from moving towards the basketball. And instead of fighting it, I would just gently nudge my guy up towards Joel. And for some reason, you had this innate ability to just figure out when I was going to do that. and I would screen my defender into your defender, and you would spin baseline and dunk. And then they wouldn't top block me anymore. Yeah.
And if your defender will help, you're wide open. So yeah, I miss it a lot.
Honestly, I mean this, like it was a once in a career combination for me. For me, you will find somebody else.
I would not.
For me, it was.
I guarantee you that I would not.
For me, it was though. I think what was so different about you was obviously your screening, your intelligence, but for a 5-man, when I would come off, let's say I got the ball in the DHO and I'm coming off to my right hand, if that big stepped up at all, all I had to do was get you the ball. I didn't have to put it perfect. I could just throw it to you in space. And as a 5-man, you're agile and nimble enough to make plays out of that, which is rare. Because for the most part, if I run that with a 4 that's as athletic and as agile, they're just going to switch it.
They're just switching, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
with the 5 they can't do it. That's why it was so hard to guard. Like that was the best offense in the NBA.
Have you guys tried? I think you guys try to do some similar stuff with Josh and Furkan this year.
We did with Furkan and Shake. Shake is actually, it doesn't have the same gravity that you have as a shooter. Because you just getting started, your reputation and all that, you got to build up to it, and people's got to respect you. But I think Shake has the potential to make it happen. Furkan to a certain level, but with them you still need to kind of teach him and coach him. And just make sure that he gets it. And we tried it a couple of times. He worked, but he would take a lot of time, which we didn't have in the season.
How long did you think it took you guys to get you to the point where you were just locked in, you just knew this was unstoppable? Go to
the couple months into the first season.
It was just automatic.
Yeah.
From the beginning, it was just this is the whole team knew. Now, we would call the play. The other team knew what was coming, and they still couldn't stop it. So
the only thing that teams started to do, especially towards the end, and Toronto did this in the playoffs.
Boston did it too.
Would be, as I got the ball, they would sell out at the nail. So there'd be a third defender at the nail. And so my only real option was to swing it. And that was usually Tobias. So he would, Mike Scott, if Mike was in the game, they would get that slot 3. That was really it. But the other thing about it, Joe, which for me, I just enjoyed because I liked playing with someone who sort of could see the whole court. Everybody runs delay action, and ours with Philly was called A to B. Everybody runs some version of that. The point guard brings it up. He throws the ball to the big at the top of the key, and then the big has the option to do a bunch of things. Well, whenever they would throw the ball to Joel at the top of the key, it didn't matter what side I was on. He's like, where's JJ?
I'm coming to find JJ. I think he got, I think at some point, I don't know if you could say it, I think some of the guys just got frustrated with it.
I think Jimmy was probably frustrated with it.
Yeah, because it is hard. When you got the best offense in the NBA and it's unstoppable, it's why would you do something else? He's walking. If they stop it, then you try something else. But it was hard.
I feel we had Jimmy on the podcast back in March. You watched it, yeah. But we talked about it on the podcast, and towards the end of the season especially, we figured out ways to maximize his talent, and that allowed him to play just sort of at the top of the key with you in pick and rolls. And so that was a dynamic that really worked for us in the playoffs.
It changed everything because during the playoffs, it was kind of hard because of the way that we're guarding Ben. And if you had him as a primary ball handler, the offense just wasn't there. So just having Jimmy just play pick and roll, or me and you just playing that 2-man game was a killer. And he actually, I think Ben's also started getting in late. Every time he had the ball, he would also come to find you. Because he just like even with them, like guys are gonna hop off of you, so he's gonna be wide open on that late dump pass that you always made. So yeah, it was a killer.
Yeah, the
But
thing with Ben's DHOs that were different.
once again, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. The thing with Ben's DHOs, though, because a lot of teams would like guard him, like LeBron did this last year with the Lakers. He just sat in the middle of the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically a free screen. If Ben comes to me on a DHO, there's nobody within 5 feet. I could just come off easy shot.
Easily.
How you guys were, have been so dominant this season defensively, but at times the offense has been a little clunky, and Brett has experimented with different lineups. How do you think that transition this year has affected you offensively?
A lot. You can see with the numbers. You go from last year, and I don't care about the stats because I feel like if I really cared about the stats and I wanted to like score a lot every single night, I could just be a black hole and just shoot whenever I want to, and just be and not pass it to anybody. But it was just such a difference maker because, last year when they were doubling me, literally I was either inviting it or I was like, okay, I'm not going to post up anymore and I'm just going to go to that two-man game because I know that I'm going to get you a shot. And once you make 2 or 3, they're going to come up. And they're going to come up anyways. But if you make 2 or 3, it's like, oh, they're just going to change everything. And he's just going to leave me open. So that was like another way to like, for me to like either hurt my teammate or hurt myself. This year, it was like, it was different. Defensively, obviously, like you said, we pretty good. We're big, we're fast, we can switch. A lot, and but offensively, it just wasn't that. We had our offense, but at times it was not the right offense. The offense we've been using the past 4 or 5 years, that wasn't the offense for this team. Like it was completely different. You don't have a JJ Redick, you don't have a Jimmy Butler who's gonna go through pick and rolls. It was different, but I think we're getting it. I think the last month that we spent in the bubble has helped us a lot. I think we've come closer. I started, and I won't lie, like during the season, like I was not myself. Like I was not there. Like I just wasn't comfortable. Like the offense wasn't the same. Like basketball was not the same to me. And the way things happened last summer, it was just so frustrating. So I was kind of like mad at the whole world, and I was just like, whatever. Like I'm just coming to work and I'm gonna do my best, but I wasn't like playing up to my standards, and it was hard. It was a big change, but you adjust. Every year is gonna be different, and this year was different. But I still believe we got a big chance to make it happen. We can win the whole thing.
I wanted to ask you about post-ups. And it specifically, do you feel like, I know Brett shares all of your stats with you because I know Brett and he's thorough with stat sharing and points per possession and whatnot. Are you aware of your post-up stats this year?
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read them for a little bit. So you lead the league in total points and points per game in the post. They account for about 36% of your possessions used. You're scoring at 1.12 points per possession on a post-up. For reference, the Clippers, who have the number 3 offense in the league, at 112.9. So let's call your post-ups a top 5 offense.
Yeah.
Okay. How difficult is it at times to find that balance of playing on the perimeter and wanting to be, as you just said, a black hole in the post?
It's not hard because I feel like after what we've been through, I kind of understand what it takes to win, and he's gonna take more than me. He's gonna take 5 guys on the court. He's gonna take 15 guys to do that job, and playing with the guys that we have, I gotta be able to make sure that I can help him. Like for example, Ben has not been comfortable just playing on the perimeter and shooting threes. But I also understand that I know what he's best at. When he has the ball in open court, like he's unstoppable. And when he's going to get to the paint, he's either going to score or he's going to try to find guys. So I understand that when he's in that situation, like I got to make sure I help him because I know that that's the best way for us to win. I got to space out and make sure that he has some space to operate and create some lanes so he can go and do his thing. While I'm also at the three-point line, making sure I'm ready to shoot, move it, score from it. So it's hard. I know when I'm in the post, I know that double teams or not, I'm unstoppable. I'm either going to score or get fouled, which I do get fouled a lot. And so it's kind of hard to go from there where you you have such a great talent offensively, and then you got to be outside your comfort zone, which I'm still comfortable being on the perimeter. But then again, you want to do what you're best at. But sometimes it's just not possible. It's hard at times, but I understand that, like, basketball is played 5-on-5. I need my teammates to also make sure that they help me, and by helping me, and I also got to help them, and that's kind of my mindset by just like making sure I balance it out.
When do you think in your career you figured this out? Because the natural thing, just for like a fan listening to this, is like if you're the best in the league at something by a wide margin, any person, no matter what your athletic history is going to want to just go back to that all the time. So when did you basically figure out, like, I need to get other people involved more to just sort of help the team win?
It's easy. You look at what we've been through. I mean, last year was a tough loss, the way we lost. And the previous year, we lost to Boston. So you go back after every one of those losses or every time you lose a game, you try to kind of study the game and try to understand like what you could have done to make it better. And that's one of the things that came back to me. Like I got to be able to, be myself and also help my teammates. At times, a lot of people always say like, "Oh, you gotta shoot the ball, this and that. That's your best way to win." Like I may not agree, but I don't necessarily agree all the time. You gotta also make sure your teammates are involved because if everybody's happy, the main thing that I care about is defense. Like I want my teammates to be able to be locked in and play defense against stops. And when you get everybody involved offensively, it's easy to go back on the other end, and everybody also giving up so much energy to try to make sure we play the best we can.
This is why Joel told Philly not to re-sign me last year, because he wants everybody locked in on defense. I know the truth, Joe.
The conspiracy, it's coming out right now.
We don't want to go to that subject.
I should mention in regards to post-ups, I wanted to mention this. Jokic is the only other high-volume post-up player in the entire NBA who scores over 1 point per possession. He's at 1.06. League worst offense is at 1.02. That's Golden State. So basically, the post-up is a dead form of offensive basketball, with the exception of you and Jokic.
LaMarcus Aldridge, I thought he was up
LaMarcus uses a lot of possessions. He's at 0.9 something. Okay. I looked it up today, yeah. But I think what's amazing about this is the fact that you are a unicorn in a lot of ways because of your footwork and your shooting and your playmaking. But in some ways, you're a unicorn because you still represent a little bit of old school basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever gonna go away. Nowadays everybody always talk about the threes and all that. Threes are better than twos. I don't necessarily agree.
The math says threes are better than twos.
I know it is. But if you have a wide open layup, instead of taking it, you're gonna pull up for a three. When you're a 33% 3-point shooter, like it doesn't make sense. You basically telling me that, oh, if I have a wide open layup and I'm this shot I shot about 34% from three, I should pull up for three. Like it just doesn't make sense. I know what I'm good at, but I will make sure that I take whatever is available and worry about the rest later.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the shot last year that beat us in the conference semifinals. And I obviously I have some thoughts on, my own emotions. I came to your apartment a couple weeks after we had lost to the Raptors, and you and I talked for a while. But one of the things I asked you, and if you don't mind just sharing again with the listeners, one of the things I asked you is like, why were you crying? Like, what was the emotion, what was the thought and the feeling that brought out those tears that everybody saw back in the hallway and in the locker room?
I think the first thing was losing. I hate losing. I want to win, and I wanted to win so bad. And the second thing was that I felt like I let everybody down because I wasn't at my best. Like during the playoffs, my knee was like messed up. Like I couldn't run, I couldn't jump. And then I ended up getting sick. For some reason, I probably had the virus back then. If it was already, if it was already here, I probably had it back then. Like I think that was the two reasons why I was playing. Like I just felt like I hate losing, and the second thing was just like I let everybody down. Like I was like, how do I go from averaging whatever many points in the regular season, 27 and a half, to averaging 18 points in the playoffs? I was like it just doesn't make sense. Like, how do I go from being so good to just like basically like I don't know. I don't want to say any names in the NBA, but some trash play.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. So as we sort of, I mean, we're just a few days away now, or about a week away now from the playoffs starting. As you're ramping up and getting ready to start the playoffs this year, how does your past experiences does that change your approach either mentally or in terms of your routine? Like, how are you thinking about this year's playoffs differently than in the past?
Nothing changes. The only thing that's different this year is that I'm healthy, and God willing, I'll stay healthy. My first playoffs, I missed the first few games because of I got hit in the eye by Markel. So I came back fast, and I was not in shape. And then the second one last year, I had my knee where I couldn't jump or run at all, and I got sick. So I was not healthy the past two. And this year, I feel like that's the big change, and it's gonna make a big difference. And God, like I said, God willing, I stay that way. And I'm hoping, and I've been working to make sure that I stay that way. So I think that's the difference. I don't think anything changes because if I'm healthy, and I know it, everybody always says it, if I'm healthy, that's a game changer.
Joe, we've talked about this with a few other guys, but obviously there's going to be no crowds for these playoff games. And so how do you think that's going to affect you as someone who's just obviously the best with the crowds?
My experience this year with the fans kind of changed the way I see the game. So I'm used to, I didn't really get into it this year, like JJ just they just putting your hands up and getting them hype and all that stuff. Always play to the crowd. I didn't do that as much this year because there was a lot going on. Like from last summer to going into the season and not being myself, not dominating as I usually do. Like there was just no passion. So I just played without it. And I think I got used to. And then finally when I decided to react it because, they booed me and that I shushed them and they got mad. So that was a game changer. I have a lot of love for the fans in Philly. That's just passion. They understand me. Our relationship is different. I love them. They love me. They understand me. They know what I'm about. I know what they're about. I know what they want. They just want to win. They just want a winner and they just want a championship. And you just got to play hard and, push yourself, always give it 100%. So, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was really the first year for you personally where you experienced some backlash from the Philly fans. And because you had not been booed before.
Never. Yeah. It was the first time.
But you've seen, obviously, over the years, your teammates get booed.
I saw. This is crazy. So, Robert Covington,
yeah.
It was here actually a couple of days ago, and we were talking about it. You talking about a guy, literally every single game, he was getting booed after every missed shot. Boo. Like he misses. And then the dude just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. He didn't care. I was just like, this dude is crazy. Like, if you get booed, it's like there's two type of people. Like, if you get booed, you either gonna stop shooting, and there's other people that just gonna be like, whatever. I'm just gonna keep shooting. If I make one, cool, or whatever. And that was one guy that was getting booed. And then this year, I finally experienced it. And, I played off of it. I loved it because I was like, that's where I think my season changed. That's where it made me go back to myself because if you go back to the games after, that's where I was like, okay, Joel, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you gotta go back to that Joel from last year. Like, you gotta do like. JJ's not here anymore. Like you gotta play with whatever you have. Like you gotta use whatever you have instead of always thinking about the past. And I get booed, and then I react, and then I shush him, and I started playing, like going back to myself after that. And I think that was a game changer. Like because I know that they understand me and they want more. Like they think I can be better. So. The way I saw it was like, Joel, you're not doing good. Like, you got to go back to yourself. Like, you're not playing, you're not giving you all. You're not playing 100%. You're just going through the motion. Like, you just got to go back to being yourself.
I think there's a risk in you admitting, by the way, that you started playing better after they booed you. Yeah. So, like, for a parent, you have to parent your kids differently.
So they're going
to for a coach, you have to coach your players differently. Each play, you have to figure out what makes them tick. Philly fans don't give a fuck. They're just gonna boo everybody.
But I'm saying, it's okay to boo. That's fine. I can take it. But when the player actually reacts to it, because when I shush them, they went crazy. Joel, this and that. I'm like, well, if you're this year, you got to be able to take it too. So like that, it goes both ways. So, but then again, it's okay to boo, but like when you boo because someone missed one shot or 3 shots, it happens. Like sometimes you make shots, sometimes you have a bad night. Like you can't just boo because someone just missed 2 shots, after scoring 20 points or whatever. Like it just doesn't make sense. But that's where Philly fans, like they're passionate, they love the game, they study it, they follow it. But then again, I feel like sometimes they just do it just because like that's their reputation, and they just do it just because they want to.
I don't know if you remember this. We lost game 1 against Brooklyn last year.
Yes.
and I fouled out with a minute and a half or 2 minutes to go and got booed as I was walking off the court. And there was scattered boos earlier in the season. I think I had a shooting slump in March, and I was like, whatever, who cares? But like, I got booed off the floor as I'm walking off the floor. And in some ways, I had the same reaction as you. I was terrible defensively that night. Wasn't very involved in the offense.
We were all bad.
We were all bad, but I took it very personal. It was a low point. It was a low point. It crushed me. It was humiliating. And I remember going into game 2 like, I'm going to hoop this game. Like there's nothing that's going to stop me. I'm going to be on point in all my rotations, whatever my coverages are. I'm going to be on point. I'm going to make shots. I'm going to be aggressive. Like I'm having a great game. I'm not reliving that fucking moment.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But then again, like you have some other guys that are just like weak-minded. Like they might take it as a shot to them. Like, oh, they're booing me after everything I've done for them. Like I'm out of here. Like this and that. Like, but some guys, I just like that's what motivates them. Like they need it sometimes. Like you said, like the way you saw was that you understand that. You weren't good. You had to do better, and that's the way I saw it too.
In regards to Robert Covington and him being booed, I think we both can admit that Robert Covington has no conscience whatsoever.
He has no. He has no.
I mean, Cov is there. He's all there, but in some ways, he's not all there. You know what I mean?
Yes, no. Like that's what I was saying. The dude,
he's unaffected by it. Completely unaffected.
Like all shots, people at the whole arena is like, boo, boo. And then next one down the court, like fast break, instead of taking the layup, he will pull up for a 3. And he literally doesn't care. I'm like, that's crazy.
For both of you guys as a non-Philly person, what's the feeling on the process in 2020? That's a thing that's very unique to the city.
The process, I think it means a lot, and it's never going to be complete until you actually win that championship or the first one. It started, with Sam Hinkie, trading all these pieces and just like make sure that we are in the situation that we're in right now by drafting and taking chances on a couple of guys. And I thought it worked pretty well. We've had the last 2 seasons, we won more than 50 games. And then this year was a down year. But I think we're still on the path to accomplishing what the process was about. So I think we're good. And I was saying earlier, this is only my 3rd year playing with Ben. We have a lot of potential. I still can get so much better than I am right now, and I think he can too. And this is only our 3rd year playing together, so we can make it happen.
Do you still talk to Sam Hinkie ever?
Yeah, we text sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I've gotten to know Sam a little bit. Actually, I had lunch with him in March, like 3 days before our country shut down, basically. He was like one of my last people I saw before the country shut down. Yeah, and Sam has been a nice sounding board for me about post-career stuff as I sort of navigate the end of my career. He's super smart, and he shoots it to me straight. He doesn't hold back, so he's been great. I also wanted to ask you about just you and Ben. So you've sort of talked about your role within the offense and how that can help or hurt Ben depending on what you're doing. You talk about both of your improvements that you can make. Are these things that you guys talk about to each other? Are these discussions that you're having with him?
Oh yeah, I think this past year we've taken a leap about just like actually just being real with each other. Like I've never been the one to like force him to shoot to make him feel like he had to shoot. I always felt the need of having him do it because I know that the same way that I was saying, like if he has a lane and this and that, like I know I got to space out because that's what he's good at. Like the same thing goes for me. Like if I'm in the post, like I need 4 guys to be on the perimeter, just be ready to shoot it. Because most times, 90% of the time, they're going to double. Even when we play the best defenders in the league, like I say, let's say, for example, Toronto, Margasol is really good in the post. That's the double and triple team me every single time. Like he's never a single coverage. Every game that I go into, he's rare. So I need 4 guys on the perimeter just being ready to shoot. And I think that's the next evolution for us. And like I'm so happy. Like every time he makes one, I'm so happy for him because I know that it's going to give him the confidence to keep on going. And I know that's what's going to help us. And I think that's what's going to unlock that championship because if we start playing that way and just helping each other, I think we got a long way to go.
All right. Let's do a rapid fire round before we do our draft. All right. Where do you own more real estate? Inside Karl Anthony Towns' head, Hassan Whiteside's head, or Andre Drummond's head? Where do you own the most real estate?
The most real estate? That's tough to say. All 3 guys, I've been able to kick their ass over the years. The last time I actually had any sort of real trash talk with any of them, I know you remember that it was last year against Drummond. We played them in Detroit. They won the game. I had 30-10, but they won the game. I give him that. And then we go back to Philly. He just I think he said something like Joel can run. You just got to run to make him tired and this and that. He's out of shape. Like he was going with basically what everybody else was saying in the world. Like they don't understand basketball, but they're just like, oh, Joel is out of shape and this and that. And then I was like, cool. So we played them in Philly the next game. Guess what I had at halftime?
What was the exact number?
It was 32, I think 30 or 32
Yeah.
at halftime.
Yeah.
That's what I had at halftime. So that was the last real trash talk that I had. And since then, he just been that's it. Yeah, you can't mess with Joel.
But you and Kat got into it this season.
Yeah, we got it. I was kicking his ass, that whole game, and they were losing a lot. I can see he kind of got to his head. It was a little bit confusing in there, and we locked each other. We got that wasn't a fight. It was a tussle.
A tussle, yeah.
And you pushing me, and then people are separating us, and so it was cool.
All right, so the answer is Drummond, though. The answer is Drummond.
Yeah, it has to be Drummond.
Okay, all right.
If you could trade places with any other athlete in the world, who would it be?
Any other? Ooh. I'm a soccer fan. The real football fan. I'm a football fan. I would not trade any places. I love where I'm at. The NBA is cool, but I'm a soccer fan. I'm a fan of, all those great players, Messi, Ronaldo. But I would not trade any places. I love where I'm at. I'm blessed to be in this situation. Growing up, especially because I started playing basketball at 16. I never had any idea of being in this situation and having the ability of making a lot of money, providing for my family and helping people back home or here in America. I love doing that. And I'm good where I'm at.
Tommy, if you could trade places with any athlete, who would you trade places with?
Definitely not a basketball player. I'd probably trade places with a baseball player.
Wow.
I'd like Mike Trout because they have the easiest life.
You mean
Mike Trout gets paid $400 million to just show up and play baseball all day in a very chill environment. Basketball, there's too much pressure.
Mike Trout that's the thing. Does Mike Trout have any pressure?
Life.
Does he have any pressure?
Mike Trout has a great life.
We need to get Mike Trout on the podcast and ask him if he feels pressure. I feel like he has no pressure.
You don't think so?
If Mike Trout went to a mall, no, he can't go to a mall right now. But if Mike Trout was out, I mean, who like recognizes Mike Trout? He's the best baseball player probably ever. Probably ever.
I maintain Nick Young is more recognizable in LA than Mike Trout.
I think I'd pick a golfer, by the way.
You pick a golfer?
Because you just play golf. Like,
who though? Speed?
I mean, not Tiger. Not Tiger. I'm not trying to play with Tiger.
Messi would be interesting. The soccer. I thought you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say that.
But Messi is like, it depends on like the type of lifestyle you want. Like if you want to be quiet and not really ever be anywhere and not see people and all that, Messi's perfect. That's like, it's like the best at what he does, but you would never hear about him. Yeah. Like you would never. But if you want to be all over the place, commercials and this and that, like Ronaldo is the guy. So it depends on what you want.
All right. My next question is, which teammate would you not, or ex-teammate, would you not want to quarantine with? Like an absolute, I do not want to quarantine with this person.
Oh, man. Do I have to answer that question?
Yes, you have to answer the question. You signed the waiver before you came on the show and said, I'll answer any question.
JJ, you're answering this afterwards, too.
Fine. I'll answer it right now. I would not want to be quarantined with Dwight Howard. I don't want to be quarantined with Dwight Howard.
Oh, man. Which ex-player? But, JJ, you got to understand, I've had so many teammates since I got to the league. Literally.
And you've liked all of them. And you've liked every single one of them.
Literally, my first 2 years
was
like a modeling show. You know how models go, the other one goes, and then this and that. That was like that every day. Like players were just coming in and out, and like, I don't know. I gotta think about it. Let me see.
Is there anyone with hygiene issues that you wouldn't want to quarantine with? Anyone that plays loud music? I'll make it easy on you. I'll just come up with reasons why you can say Tobias Harris.
I can't put people's business. Are you talking about hygiene issues? Come on. I can't say how someone smells like shit up. Come on. That's not good for them. I can't put them on the spot.
All right, think about it. We have an answer by the end.
There's an answer. You've had a teammate you didn't like. Joel, you've had a teammate you didn't like. I know you have.
What actor plays you in a movie if you're casting it?
Is Michael Blackson an actor?
Yes, that counts.
I'm just kidding. Which actor plays me in a movie? I could be funny, but then again, I could be serious. I could take on a lot of roles. Seth Rogen. I like Seth Rogen.
That's a great answer.
That's a great answer. All right, we're gonna get to the draft. I do have to ask: people keep telling me you love the Vampire Diaries.
Oh yeah, Vampire Diaries is the best show ever. Have you watched it?
No.
If you haven't, you should. You should watch it.
So we heard that you named your dog after Klaus from the Vampire Diaries.
Yes, Klaus is like he's the bigger. He's more of the biggest actor on the originals, but he's also on the Vampire. That's where it starts. He starts on the Vampire Diaries. But if you ask anybody that watched both, they're gonna tell you that he was the best actor and he was the most exciting.
Are you all the way caught up? Because there's like 8 seasons and they're all like 30 episodes.
I watched the whole thing 3 times.
Oh my god!
8
I was on Netflix last night. That's a whole quarantine activity, just watching that show.
I watched the whole thing literally 3 times over, and I want to start watching it for the 4th time again. That's how good it is. And yes, I named my dog after my dog's name is Klaus Hinkie. My girlfriend's last name, DePaula Embiid. That's his name.
That's a great name. What other shows are you watching?
Right now, I'm watching Blacklist, which is actually a pretty good show. It reminds me of. Have you ever watched 24? Jack Bauer?
Yeah.
The best. So it kind of reminds me of that. That's what I'm watching right now. And then I'm watching. Between that, also, I've been watching my favorite cartoon, Dragon Ball Z. Like that's what I've been watching a lot. I bet the best.
Classic.
Yes.
All right, we're going to draft our 2K starting five. So we're going to snake the draft, Joe. So first pick, second pick, third pick gets 2, and then we go back in order, okay? We're going to let you start. You're the guest. You can have the number 1 pick.
Can I pick myself?
I told you, you can't pick anyone.
No Philly, and no Pelicans.
Well, he can pick Pelicans, and I can pick Philly.
Yeah, you can pick Pelicans.
Okay, first one, I'm taking LeBron first.
I mean, you can't argue with that choice. It's solid.
Actually, guess what? I'm taking.
No.
Please.
Pick's already in. Pick's already in. Pick's already in. All right.
That'll be a good GM then.
I'm gonna go second, or Tommy, you want to go second?
I'll go second.
All right, you go second.
I'm picking KD.
That's what I wanted to pick, man.
Perfect NBA Live player, 2K player. Perfect. No one better.
I'm going to be honest with you. My entire strategy was based on me picking Kevin Durant first.
It happens.
Because he was hurt, I just figured you guys would forget about
That's
him.
good. That's good management right there.
That's what I wanted to pick.
Okay.
I'll trade him to you for 10 first round picks. This is going to
change everything in terms of my strategy. I'm going to have to adjust on the fly here. I'm basically, you'll see when I build out my team what my strategy is. All right, I'm going to have to go with Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. Again, Joe, we're playing 2K, okay?
Okay.
And next is Steph.
That checks out.
All right.
I'm going Giannis.
Man.
Okay.
It's a pretty long team so far.
My pick is in. I'm going Kawhi.
Okay. You get a second pick, Joe.
I'm going AD. Come on, man. I forgot about AD.
Yeah, we forgot.
We got Braun, Kawhi, and AD. Oh,
that's the LA team.
All
right.
I got a curveball. Well, not a curveball, really. I'm going Booker.
Oh,
amazing real player and amazing video game player.
Okay. Man. All right. I'm just going to double down. I'm going to go all in on this strategy here. My next 2 picks are Klay Thompson and Duncan Robinson.
I was thinking about picking Duncan.
You shouldn't pick Paul George instead of Duncan Robinson.
Wait, JJ, what is your team right now? List your team off.
Karl Anthony Towns, Steph, Klay, Duncan.
Okay.
Look good.
All right, I'm up.
You just wait for my 5th pick, guys. You're not even ready for this. Yeah, you're up.
I'm picking Kyrie.
I'm picking Luka.
Wow.
Oof.
I got Luka.
Joe's team is sneaking up.
Yup, AD and Kawhi. Oof. Come on, man.
So for my last pick.
Wait, hold on. Joe gets one more. more.
Yeah.
I get one more.
You get your 5th pick.
I need a guard. I can't pick up any Sixers. I was going to pick up Ben.
Harden still on the board?
Oh, I can't. I mean,
I'm giving him some hints here, Tommy.
In 2K, Zach LaVine is better than Harden. In 2K.
Zach LaVine is amazing in 2K.
He's amazing.
He's amazing in 2K.
All you got to do is freaking run around and just jump with him. He's going to dunk everything.
Or shoot from 30 feet.
But I'll pick up Harden. I'll pick James.
That's a good team.
James, Luka.
I mean, it's a good team in real life. I don't know that it's a good 2K team.
So I need a 5th pick. I want to figure out a shooter just to fuck up your draft, JJ. So I'm trying to think who the best shooter available is right now.
JJ.
He can't pick himself, so it's not going to ruin it. So I need.
That's why I was going to pick him, but you said.
Right. I think my 5th pick is going to be Korver.
That's not a good 2K team.
I don't think it's a good 2K team at all.
I got Giannis, Booker, KD. I'm gonna be good.
That's not good enough.
I wanted to make sure that I stacked my team with shooters before I picked this guy. He would have been higher. And I also wanted to make sure that I drafted some sort of a big. KD was going to be my original big, but my last pick is going to be Damian Lillard. So I've got Damian Lillard, Duncan Robinson, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm literally not going to shoot a 2. I'm going to shoot all 3s. I think it's good strategy.
I think Joe has the best team.
In real life,
objectively, Joe has the best team. I would have had the best team if I didn't try to fuck up your 3-point shooter.
I'd be a great GM. Come on, Luka, James, LeBron, AD.
Yeah, that's the best team.
Come on, man.
This is a pretty clear 1, 2, 3. JJ's the worst. Joe's the best. I'm right in the middle.
LeBron. You can't stop AD.
I don't understand how mine is the worst.
Bro, because I love Duncan. Duncan is a friend of the show, is our boy. Duncan is not in the top 5 2K picks. He's just not. If we called him right now, he would not pick himself in the top 5. There's no way.
You see, I think you think I'm picking Duncan to give Duncan love, but I looked up today. That's
why you're doing it.
I looked up all the 3-point ratings of every player from like 99 to like 84. And I just said, here's my list. I'm picking 5 of these guys, and you guys sabotaged me with the KD pick. And I had to go with Duncan. I actually almost picked Davis Bertans over Damian Lillard with my 5th
pick. Good. We're big. We can guard. We can score. My team is perfect.
That's a good team.
Yep. JJ, question.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the potential to play like you? That's my next free agent target.
Who do I think has the potential to play like me?
Duncan Robinson.
Duncan, Joe Harris. Man, I'm trying to think.
I'm talking.
I
like Joe, but he doesn't move. I'm talking about moving the same way you do. Like Duncan and Joe, they don't move the way you do. I'm talking about half footwork and like those type of shots that you're taking. Like Joe doesn't take those type of shots. That's like I feel like Joe is more like of a spot-up shooter. Like he can come off a screen and just like rise up and shoot it. But like, I'm talking about like you fade away threes, like from all the way to the corner, this and that, like moving the way you do. So that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, there may be a chance a guy like Buddy Hield's available. I'm not comparing myself to Buddy, but Buddy's a high volume, high efficiency 3-point shooter who does some other things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, we had Duncan on the podcast and we asked him, like, who does he try to emulate? He mentioned a bunch of guys. I was one of them. But, like, I feel like every player's sort of their own person and they have their own strengths and weaknesses. I think one of my strengths is, like, I can make highly contested shots off balance. And I don't think there's a lot of guys that can do that. There's a lot of guys that can I think Troy Daniels is a great shooter. If we were doing a spot-up shooting contest, he might beat me. But can he make the shots I make?
No.
I don't know. I don't think so. So
yeah,
I had to get Troy back because he said he was a better shooter than me this summer.
Oh, you said that?
Joe, I have one other question we forgot to ask. Is it true you just started driving?
Yes, I just got my license. Like,
how's that going?
Well, great. I'm still in the process of picking the car. JJ, you got any suggestions?
Yeah, I think you should get a 1972 Ford Bronco drop top with like a Coyote motor in it.
Oh, yeah. You got a Bronco and OJ again?
OJ's I think was second generation. You get a first generation.
You want to relieve the OJ moment again? Come on.
You do need a drop top though, and just cruise around the city.
No, I could. Joe. Let's be honest. Like you're gonna get the Rolls Royce SUV. True. You're gonna get the Rolls Royce SUV.
No, I don't like it.
You're gonna copy Tobias, and you're gonna get that.
Nope, I don't like it. I can't afford it, man. I gotta feed my people in Africa. I don't have that.
I think you should get.
My budget is like 20, 30,000. That's all.
You should get something surprising no one else has.
Prius, Toyota Prius, maybe.
Yeah.
Joe, when we got to New Orleans, we realized we needed a second car, and so I bought a Honda Odyssey minivan, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite car to drive. It's amazing. Yes, it's amazing. I love it. I had so when I went back to Brooklyn, I was in Sag Harbor originally for the first 2 months of isolation, whatever, lockdown, and I went back to Brooklyn, and I had 5 people. We're hitting up my friends, and they were like, yo, I think I saw JJ driving around Brooklyn. I saw the sleeve and everything, but the dude was driving a white Honda Odyssey. It couldn't have been him.
Oh man, I got a couple options. I don't like the Rolls Royce though. The Lambo truck is cool.
You're gonna get something sick, and you deserve it. Enjoy it.
I do deserve it because I never really spent money and I never bought any cars. So
Tommy, Joe, I've never seen Joe spend any money on clothing. He only wears
Under
Under Armour or brands will send him stuff, and he'll occasionally wear a name brand.
That's a great trait.
Yeah. It's great.
So many people blow so much money on dumb clothes they wear twice.
Joe, I got to give you props too, man. I know you did a bunch of stuff for other people. Your generosity during this coronavirus crisis has been amazing. So props, man.
That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Joe, we appreciate the time. It's always good to catch up with you, bud. And I'll see you soon.
I'll see you, brother.
All right.
All right.